Those are his clones.
I'm a jump scare.
So, I'm starting to see a pattern here that you guys really like it when I yell angrily about Star Wars compared to when I don't angrily yell about Star Wars. Well, I'm one to give the people what they want. Remember back in, 2015 when it was revealed that Luke Skywalker's lightsaber was being brought back, and everyone theorized how they were going to incorporate it into the story, considering it fell into the garbage the last time we saw it, and people speculated for, hours on end as to how the characters got it back, and then the movie came out.
Where'd you get that?
A good question. For another time.
Oh boy. So mysteries aren't necessarily a bad thing in storytelling, they kind of get a bad rap. It gives the audience a reason to stay intrigued, and if you know everything in the beginning, there isn't really an incentive to continue watching. It shouldn't be the only thing to keep you incentivized, but it can certainly help. The problem arises with the payoff of that mystery. A mystery shouldn't just make sense, that should be a given. It needs to have time in the story to feel earned and satisfying. If the twist happens too late, there won't be enough time for the audience to actually take in what they just saw. They'll just go, oh, it's over? Okay. It's kind of like the problem with twist villains. A character who is secretly a bad guy can work if applied to the correct context, but if the villain doesn't have enough time to be evil, there really isn't a reason for them to exist. The lamest Disney villains are the ones who barely have any screen time because we know nothing about them. The reason people like Omni-Man so much is because of the amount of screen time he gets to be evil. It's a satisfying payoff. That's why people like him. So how has Star Wars handled its mysteries in the past few years? It's like in the middle. It's been kind of hit or miss. But first, let's look at one where the mystery completely fumbled. Moff Gideon's cloning subplot in The Mandalorian was set up from the first episode of the entire goddamn series. We got barely any answers aside from a few breadcrumbs every 24 episodes, and our final payoff in the very last episode of the entire show is that Gideon was making clones of himself to take over the galaxy.
Okay.
That could have been a really fun idea, especially since Giancarlo acting alongside himself would have been really funny, but the issue arises that we never get to see these clones come to fruition. We were left guessing for 3 seasons only for the show to tell us, oh, he was trying to make clones, but they died, but we didn't get to see that happen. Never mind that, we gotta get to the action, baby! So that was a little disappointing, like just a little. Would it have been more satisfying to see the stormtroopers be Gideon clones instead of just nameless schmucks? Probably. It wouldn't have been perfect, but they'd have at least gotten 2 episodes to be badasses instead of just dying off screen. A mystery isn't good when you don't get payoff to it. I didn't even feel like I watched a conclusion to Gideon's story. It was so unsatisfying. Now let's look at a show that got its mystery right. The Bad Batch's story of Project Necromancer was set up at the end of Season 1, and they spent all of Season 2 building up the mystery of what was going on inside Mount Tantus. What the show did differently from The Mandalorian was tell us what was going on at the very premiere of Season 3. The Empire is making clones, and they want them to have the Force. It's simple. As the season progresses, we learn more about the experiments, and how they need a little bit of Omega's blood so the clones can stay Force sensitive. This is how you set up a mystery. Give us tiny bits and pieces of the secret early on, then reveal more and more as the story progresses, to the point where we have the full picture by the end of the story. There was a constant need to keep watching the show because almost every episode we were getting new information on Project Necromancer. If I'm gonna nitpick, they never outright say who they're cloning, but considering Emperor Palpatine is the one visiting Tantus, and he's the one so eager to see what's happening and the results, it's kind of obvious that it's him, but I would have preferred they just outright told us. I will say that the constant need to keep the audience in the dark can be a little distracting every now and then. I opened the video with The Force Awakens having the need to jingle keys in front of us, and it led to nothing, and it's just kind of led Star Wars down the path of everything being ominous for the sake of it, because I guess the comic 5 years from now will help clear things up, I guess. These aren't big mysteries that need a whole show to explain it, but they're just little middle fingers to the audience that could easily be explained, but they just aren't? Like, do we really need to know where Maz Kanata got the lightsaber? No. Not really, but the fact that they continue to hide it just makes it more annoying. We know the answer isn't that excited, so why are you hiding it in the first place? It's not like you're ever gonna answer it. And what do you know, this movie's nearly a decade old and we still don't have a goddamn explanation as to how this stupid lady found this stupid lightsaber. Okay, I'm gonna be here all day if I keep talking about The Force Awakens. This also applies to basically everything in the sequels that wasn't answered. Give us an answer that leaves room for future explanation, but is enough for now for the audience to stomach. Who is Snoke? He's some guy who traveled the galaxy to learn about the dark side, and he adopted the Imperial remnants to create the First Order. That's simple. How did Palpatine come back? He used his master's teachings to clone his consciousness, but the power wasn't perfected and he's withering away. Simple. I bring these up because the future of Star Wars is hell-bent on continuing this trend where we're given these vague blueprints for the future, but we have nothing to go off of, and by the time we find out, it's a disappointment. What is Baylan Skoll doing? We don't know yet. What is Thrawn planning? We don't know yet. And if Ahsoka Season 2 releases, and we don't find out what Baylan is doing until the finale, when we spent the whole first season telling the audience nothing, I'm probably gonna die of a heart attack. I will say, if we're talking the most recent Star Wars show, the Acolyte has done a pretty good job handling its mysteries. The twist villain is revealed halfway through the show, so we have plenty of time to develop him later on. The mystery of what happened to the Witch Coven and their intentions is slowly being given to us episode by episode, and we still don't have a clear answer yet at the time I'm recording this video, but by the time we do find out, it'll probably be satisfying because we've been given little pieces throughout. I'm so happy they didn't go the route of telling us nothing for 7 episodes and then everything in the finale. That would have been so disappointing. Oh shit, I just complimented the Acolyte before my review of the show. Oh wait, no.